All right, guys. We are live streaming.
We're live.
Our very
We're
first podcast. Are you guys excited?
I'm super excited.
Are you?
I'm excited to be here.
I can take it or leave it.
We are tweeting this out.
Joe's never excited about anything.
Tweeting.
Wait, so we're live now.
Yes, at this
We
moment.
are live, so don't say anything that is not nice.
Precarious.
Let me open up Google just in case we want to look up something on the go.
That's actually a genius. Why didn't we do this originally?
Because we don't have the technology. Look at this. Our cameras. We're using a webcam for 3 people, and we're sort of kind of blurry.
It's a solar powered
Solar
potato.
panel. It's a solar panel. Never mind the delayed what we're looking at. So I'll keep the chat open. Let's do this.
Oh, is the stream delayed?
Yeah, of course. That's how the YouTube works. Oops, sorry, that's not what I meant to do. Un momento. Anyway, let's do an intro.
Oh, I can't do that.
We're just setting everything up here. We couldn't do a lot of stuff because we weren't live yet, but now that we're live, we're gonna do this. So, new tab. Or new window. Move to new window. Tab. Move to new window. Ta-da! That's how we do this around here.
Perfect.
Okay, so we have our chat over here, and we have our Google up in front of us. All right, guys, ready?
Ready.
100%.
Let's do an intro. Hey guys, this is John from Cartridge Blast Gamers here with another Cartridge Blast podcast. This time we are live, first time ever, on YouTube.
History in the making.
Yes. Actually, reason we're doing this is because it's an awesome idea, but also because we're getting another nor'easter, so we might not have power later to edit this down, so we're doing it live now so you guys get it. I am joined with
Jonah.
Carmine.
So, how you guys doing?
I'm fantastic.
You guys,
Fabulous.
you guys feel live?
I feel pretty alive right now.
Feel
I've
alive?
never been more alive.
You're like in 3D.
Mm.
I need my VR.
Got my precariously placed microphone right there. I'm ready to go.
So, how you guys?
If you look at the screen.
It's too late to be using those kind of words.
I'm sorry.
What's wrong with you? So, anyway, this is episode 44.
It
You
is.
can find this podcast here, live now, also on the YouTube webpage, and you can find the audio version on SoundCloud, iTunes, or any other app of your choice. And it's all information in the background. I can actually look and do it at the same time.
I know I can actually point to where it is.
It's just your arm goes
Like-
away.
Like
Because
SoundCloud.
Nothing over me.
that's the
Oh,
little,
my arm's gone.
that's the little box that we you just gotta be careful.
It's dangerous. It may not come back.
You broke the illusion,
Yeah, don't
Carmine.
break the illusion. There's no one behind the curtain.
It's all good fun.
So let's move on to. Hold on a sec. Let's move on to what you playing.
What you playing?
What you playing?
Sometimes I'm playing video games.
Carmine, what are you playing?
I played some more Fortnite actually.
Mm.
Ah,
As much as I was going back and forth with PUBG and Fortnite, I was like, all right, so there's like Fortnite's huge, right? And everybody's really excited about Fortnite. I was like, all right, well, I'll give it another try. And then, sure enough, I played probably about 3 or 4 days last week, just
Straight,
trying to play with it.
nonstop.
No, it wasn't
No
straight.
eating.
It was not straight. It's a lot of fun, but like I still just like there's some times where I feel awesome at the game. Like I got down to like I think it was like probably like my 6th or 7th game. I got to like number 7 with like 3 kills. But then like there's other times where you jump back and you die immediately. Like it's just such a range of emotions that I feel for that game. But that's the way it is with the Battle Royale. So played more of that. What else did I play? I don't think I played that much, to be honest. I've been a bad gamer.
well, you did have an off on the snowstorm. Is that what you were playing?
No, I watched Voltron.
I saw you post about that.
Yeah,
What do you think of it?
that was very well timed. I love the show. It's just a matter of they got to stop doing this half season
Yeah,
stuff.
my brother was complaining. It's only 6 episodes
Yeah,
again.
6 episodes ago. There's more coming out in June, but I don't understand why they can't just release the entire.
I think it's because they're not done with it. So instead of having one every year, they can put it out multiple.
You know what?
I
I'm
think-
not done with you, Netflix.
No,
Come for you.
I think what it is that they started doing this because later on in the season the views start going down. So if they have a second premiere, it'll just like get hyped up again.
Now here's a question. I
for
forget
the
with
series.
Voltron, but does it actually count each little 6 episodes as one season?
Yeah,
Yeah. See, I don't agree with that
I don't agree with that either.
because for instance, the one season with, I don't want to spoil anything, but say the sun, about the sun.
Yeah.
Like, it was all about the sun. But
Lotor.
by the end of it, it was like there was no point for him. Like, the way it was set up, the way it was split, made you think that something was going to happen with him, like badass. But it just, nothing happened with him. But if they kept it one whole full season, it would make more sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't watch the show.
So no, I've been binge watching.
You went to the panel though.
I went to the panel
at Comic-Con.
I saw the voice actors. I've never watched the show.
So that threw you off. You're like, I'm gonna watch this thing. You're like, I just don't like these people.
So I've been binge watching some TV and movies and stuff like that, but nothing. Played some Fortnite.
You've been
I feel like I played something else. I just can't remember what it is, but I really think that was probably it. I jumped in for some Fortnite.
Good old Connect 4.
No.
Tic-tac-toe.
Played checkers.
Star Wars
My
Connect.
son likes
Did.
checkers.
Checkers
so
is
I've been
awesome.
Playing checkers. He wants to play chess. I'm like, you cannot handle chess yet. You can barely understand
Master
the whole
checkers.
the whole double jump thing.
It's got to go checkers, Connect 4, Uno. Then you can start talking about chess. When he starts, it's got to be creative in thinking.
Yeah. Or just understand the basic concepts of what each piece does. But no, I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I've played something else, and maybe I'm just crazy.
Were you crazy?
So I think it was just
PUBG?
really... No, it wasn't PUBG. I think it was mostly just Fortnite. I didn't really play any Destiny. I didn't play anything with faction rallies. Didn't even jump in for that. I will jump in for Iron Banner because I still want the damn chess piece for the bazillion melee kills ornament.
There's a bazillion.
You need to get bazillion kills or hit melee kills.
How much is
Destiny.
a bazillion?
It's a lot more than 1 million.
Yeah, the chess piece requires like a percentage to get, and it's like every 20 kills is like a percent.
They show you a percent, not like an actual total. Poor design choice.
I don't think I'm gonna go for the chest ornament. I'm just gonna get the pieces.
You're a quitter. That's what you are. A quitter.
Yeah, I'm not
disappoint everyone.
I'm not a fan.
Looking forward to the March 27th update, though. Evidently, there's a lot of stuff coming at the end of the March with Destiny 2. So we'll see what happens with that.
Is there anything like exciting coming, or just like balance changes?
You're just asking about Destiny?
Yeah,
still? I thought that was a setup for me to talk about Rainbow Six Outbreak.
Well, you could take it that way.
Right then and there.
Honestly, I haven't been paying too much attention to Destiny 2, so I know like Iron Banner's out. I know there's been some little changes here and there. I've been listening to I still listen to the Destiny podcast all the time, but I'm not 100% sure everything that's coming.
Yeah, it's the same here. I haven't really kept up, and whenever I do see like a video, they're talking about PvP changes and stuff, and I don't care. I want more content for like the PvP.
They're gonna revert back to Destiny 1, and I'm gonna be like, why do you do that?
JK.
But yeah, no, I'm super excited to go home tonight and play me some Rainbow Six Siege Outbreak because it's live now.
Fantastic.
Gonna go kill mutant monster aliens, whatever the hell they are, and their spiky faces.
Is that an event or like an expansion?
It's an event. It's for March. Free. It's all free, all of March. But there's timed loot boxes.
Even if you have the base game?
Yeah, if you have the base game. Everything's free. You just gotta update it. You gotta go through all the updates. John, you should jump on tonight. Oh, wait, you're probably gonna be...
I'm gonna be working, most likely.
Not enjoying your life at all.
Do you know what time it's gonna start?
I have no idea.
No idea.
Snowstorms are like the Black Fridays of retail.
Less fun. Well, depends if you're not working it. I always love snow. You just go out and play in the snow.
But honestly, that's pretty much it. I haven't really played too much. There's some games I want. Like, I still want to try and jump. I want to get, like, Bayonetta 2. I'm really super excited for Far Cry. The more I hear about Far Cry 5.
Bayonetta 2 for Switch?
Yeah, Bayonetta 2 for Switch.
Nice.
But I don't think I have enough money to do that right now. Because I want Far Cry and I want God of War. God of War's coming out in April.
Mm-hmm.
And God of War has no microtransactions. I just read that today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a campaign. I don't know how that game's going to be 30 hours. Like, I feel like that's long in the tooth. But that's...
Well, what's the other God of War games been? Like,
there's like a 12, 15-hour game.
Oh, okay.
If it's like an Uncharted 2, I'll be happy with that.
But that's not 30 hours.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, but the fun.
Sony's been trying to get their story-based games up to the next level with Horizon and Uncharted. That's what they want to be known for, I guess.
Well, they just swapped out, I should say, heads up there at Sony. So what they're talking about focusing on, like, while everyone's talking about like Fortnite games, PUBG games, service games, they want to stick to what they're doing. Like,
because what it does is that it allows for them to have like the summer new like quarters 1, 2, and 3 to their exclusives pretty much that
Right.
helps sell that console. And then fourth quarter is just going to be taken up by the third-party partnerships.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's what I'm playing. Like I said, a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to. I'm starting to kind of be upset that I didn't jump into Monster Hunter being as big as it is, because they actually came out with a news report saying that Monster Hunter is now the largest selling game Capcom has ever released.
You know,
7.5 million.
I was really looking forward to playing that game.
Uh-huh.
You know, maybe like an open beta or something, but for some
I
reason...
don't want to hear it.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to hear
We
it.
ended up playing this game called Metal Gear
poor choices.
Survive or some weird game that
We all agreed to this.
tried to be Metal Gear.
You know, Jonah, you just swing and a miss sometimes.
So
Just like we
Jonah,
wanted to play
Yes.
co-op for Secret of Mana, but we never got to play co-op, did we?
We did for the last 5 minutes.
I think it was more like, yeah, it was 5 minutes. A
It
lot
was
of it was
5 minutes.
dialogue, though,
Yeah.
so technically.
We just ran around a room.
We will
with
get
like
back
the
to
two
that game.
characters.
I still have to actually play the original just to kind of compare what I've played so far. Anyway, Jonah.
You're good.
Yeah.
Just keep moving forward.
Okay. Jonah,
back.
what have you been playing?
Jump into Destiny 2 every now and then like the raid that's supposed to be happening that night doesn't happen, so I don't play that much because we always like plan it,
a raid.
but that doesn't
I
happen.
still haven't done the raid layer. I really want to do the raid layer. Can you invite me? Can you be my
Okay,
friend?
okay, I'll be your friend for
'Cause
the first time.
My clan is gone. like they're a clan, but they don't do the Destiny
They
thing
don't do
anymore.
Destiny.
Some's doing Fortnite, some's doing Overwatch.
Are they on Rainbow Six?
Not as many as I would like.
Come on, guys. Come play with me.
And I just started playing Bayonetta.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I got it. So I can lend you the second one when I'm done
yeah.
with that.
No, just finish it and,
Yeah.
let me borrow it.
Yeah.
I just want to play the second one. The first one's kind of, I felt like long.
Well, the first one you can't play because it's a download code.
Oh, that's just let me.
So I already
just want
downloaded
to play
it.
the second one.
Yeah, I'll
Swap
just-
switches for a night.
Yeah, you'll get the second one.
We have to
Actually,
keep-
I can give it to you next time because I'm still playing Bayonetta 1.
Next time on Cartridge Blast Gamers, Jonah
Exact-
lends Bayonetta 2 to Carmine.
Dragon
Why
Ball
didn't
Z.
we stream Bayonetta on Saturday then?
I didn't have it then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good man.
vis-a-vis Golden Axe 3.
And that's pretty much it. Just Destiny every now and then, and start playing Bayonetta.
I forgot how talking in a straight line is such like a neck.
I have
Turner.
to go both ways
I'm
here. So.
completely comfortable.
Well, your angle like
Yeah,
this
you're
way,
kind of
so-
angled. I'll just do this. I feel better. No, wait, my arm's gone, so I gotta kind of
Now you're putting out the vibe.
point out the vibe. Anyway, what else you playing?
That's it.
That's it? Well, you suck. I thought.
Well,
Have you been playing Secret of Mana?
No, not really.
Good purchase.
Really?
Goodbye.
I figured out. I think I told you though.
You did.
I
You told me. You didn't
Yeah,
tell
I
them.
told you.
Tell
yeah,
them.
if you want
They're
to,
interested.
if you want to get the second player, the girl, I think her name is Prim or something in the game Secret of Mana. I'm like
HD
looking at the
remake.
screen. I'm looking at the camera.
Don't look at yourself. It's
You have to talk to the third guard. Then you got to go to a different city, not to the guy that catapults you to the where you have to go.
weird. Right.
And then
I
you
thought
start
so.
you start a quest, and you get her as a companion. So that's a thing. We didn't do that. We just went to where we had to go.
Well, we were streaming, so we're kind of tight of time
Mm.
trying to get somewhere.
Yeah, I think we didn't even know that there was another like road to go.
Yeah.
So
We didn't know. Well,
we didn't know.
we
didn't know.
We didn't
That's our excuse. Anyway,
John, what are you playing?
so I am playing Halo Master Chief Collection still.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go right to the good stuff.
No, you see, you gotta say that for last.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Uh,
What one are you on?
We're on 3.
3.
Yeah. I 3's a short campaign because I think we're almost done. I feel like 2 had a long campaign.
Definitely didn't have a long campaign. Well, maybe it had a longer campaign too, but it ended abruptly.
Oh, you know what it was? I think 2 had longer cinematics. I think that's why it made it seem like a longer game.
Maybe.
Plus, you're also switching between the what was
Arbiter.
it? Arbiter, yeah, versus Master Chief. So, anyway, that game's sweet. I love my wife and I are just playing co-op on it, so it's awesome. I beat Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I mean, I didn't get 100% complete. I got the story arcs complete.
Didn't want to finish those nodes, did you?
you didn't want to fight.
I mean,
in
I could-
PvP.
I can go back and do whatever to get it 100%, but I mean, by the time I was done, I liked the game. I liked the fighting stuff. I loved the first 2 versions of the
Campaign.
story arc,
Yeah.
like because they were different enough to be good,
Uh-huh.
and there was a lot of cool, funny interactions. But the third one just dragged. Like it was just, and by the end of it, I'm like, we've seen all this. Like you couldn't have come up with a better ending.
I think the third one's like the shortest, also by like a little bit, like 2 chapters less.
Well, yeah, I
Like,
think
I remember
so. But
Halo 1 was long. Like I felt like Halo 1 was a long game for the most part.
Why are we talking about Halo?
I'm just saying.
With Dragon Ball.
Oh, we're talking Dragon Ball. You're right. You're absolutely right.
You're still on Master Chief Collection.
I fell into a hole.
Did you forget?
Yeah, I was on Master Chief Collection.
Tetris is a hard game. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, about that. But with Dragon Ball, did you like it overall?
Yeah, I mean, the game just looks fantastic. I like what they did with the interactions through the campaign. Like the funny interactions, like you'll have when you have Vegeta and Nappa team up, like it's just, or you know what I mean, like anyone else team up, they always talk about each other and they kind of poke fun at this scenario. So it's like a lot of what ifs going on at once. It's just like I said, by the third arc, the third chapter was just so tedious because you go through all the training, whatever, and then you have like one little cutscene, but it's the same cutscene for like almost 3
so what you're saying is that my assessment that the story should be more like Injustice and more combat was correct.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you,
I was just explaining what it's doing.
But I gotta say, though...
Doesn't mean it was right.
If you do happen to play it and get to that final chapter, because it's no spoiler, but you're playing as Android 21 and the androids and stuff like that, as soon as you get access to Android 21, just make sure like you fight every single person, because if you go to that final boss battle and you like skip some people, you are not beating it.
Is that hard?
Oh, it's you can be level 38, you're fighting a level 55.
I'm not gonna beat this game.
The boss
YouTube
has,
it is.
the boss.
You don't even really have to play the story. Just go in PvP.
Or just look it all up on YouTube.
The boss battle, they have like, you know how you can add perks and stuff to
Yeah.
like health regeneration. They have +5 health regeneration. You get nothing. They strip you away of all your guys. You're just one character. They take all those attributes away, so you have nothing but just you and your level. And it's crazy. It goes from like, okay, whatever, let me beat this, to like, holy crap, this is hard. How? So, but it's fun.
Ready for the real world.
Absolutely. It's real life training. It's basically like all the chapters are you going through school, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're on your own. Adulthood.
Smacks you right in the face.
So, I was playing that, and also, besides Golden Axe, Mario Odyssey. Finally got around to doing that.
Yeah.
And it's a fun, good time.
That's right. So everybody agrees here now. With the little bit that you played, John, was it the game of the year for 2017? Even though we're in 2018, it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, I haven't played Zelda. I haven't played Horizon.
I keep telling you, you don't have to play
You
Zelda.
haven't played Horizon yet?
No.
Okay.
So, like, I can't say what's
Did you
game of the
own
year.
Horizon?
I don't have Horizon anymore. Traded it.
Wow.
Actually, off topic, there's actually, there was this tweet I saw that there was a PS4 bundle from, like, Hong Kong or something that had Uncharted 4,
You make me laugh.
What happened? I didn't hear the joke.
It's no joke.
What did you do?
See, we were talking because he was asking me about Horizon. I was like, I traded it in because that's how I have to get new games a lot of times, is trading it in. And Jonah's judgment of me in that moment was just so definitive. I couldn't keep a straight
You
face.
monster.
That was like his game of the year for
I know!
2017.
And I beat it. It was great. I'm done with it. I did all the DLC.
I traded it. Done. Doesn't deserve my shelf. It's 2018.
Eventually,
That was the game of the year 2017.
Eventually it'll be on PlayStation Plus and I'll play it then. Or not, you know.
There you go.
Mm.
So apparently there's a bundle out there that has Uncharted 4, that game, and
That game has a
Jaws.
name, okay?
Horizon.
Yeah, Zero Dawn.
Zero Dawn.
Learn it.
Not Event Horizon,
Anyway,
where
the
people's
bundle.
faces
Go
melt
ahead.
and they rip their eyes out.
What's the
Destiny
bundle?
1 Sniper.
So it's Uncharted 4, Horizon, and God of War 3 remastered.
Is it PS4 Pro?
It's PS4.
Oh, not a Pro.
They don't just come out with PS4 Pro
I mean,
games.
I'm not going to say anything, John, but I mean, your old PS4 has seen some better days.
Why?
Because it's not slim.
It's perfectly
That's why.
fine. It's
No, it's
dust
It's a
free
PS4
How do you
fat.
know?
because it's got a thing on it. I cover my systems, by the way, everybody, so it doesn't get dust. I'm that person. Don't judge me.
Smart.
Anyway, Mario. I really like it. I think it's great. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about it. I haven't played a Mario game in a long time, but I like it. It does remind me of Mario 64 when that first came out. Really fun. Like, it makes you just want to keep going.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's the moon grind is real.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's like the ship wants you to find 16. You're like, no, I'm finding as many as I can.
Well, I see that one over there, and I wonder what's behind that wall,
Yep.
and I wonder how I get up to there.
I'll be back by first light, ship. I was just going to go out, just not come back for a while.
So, like, for instance, I was in the forest level just recently, and there's like a part where you think you're falling off a ledge, but no, like you uncover a whole nother area, and it's awesome and it's cool, and there's like so many different secrets down there. And
you have not got to New Donk City yet, though, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Let's talk after that.
My next one is Metro City, so
that's what I think.
I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
The Metro with the real people.
Yeah.
That's New Donk City.
Oh, okay. Well,
make sure you get as much as you can done in there.
Yeah.
Because there's a really awesome set piece.
Well, I was already technically there. If you go to the sand level, there's a secret. That you get.
I got there.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
So, but anyway, no, I like it. It's a real fun game. I like the premise of it. I like the idea of it. It's just fun. It's one of those games where, like, you just want to just keep playing it and playing it. It's
just not what I had with Zelda.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I might not either. I haven't played that yet, so.
Yeah, that one you're gonna have to get somewhere else too.
Yeah. Hey,
I can't help it, Jonah.
What? I don't have it. I don't have Zelda.
I don't have it. I'm borrowing things. So, but it's funny because I actually, my wife, she has her own account that she's playing Mario with.
Oh yeah.
And so I got her into it.
Awesome game.
Because I pitched it to her as a puzzle game, which it is.
It is, absolutely.
So
it's not a hard game. I mean, the hardest part is just like racking your brain about how to get to.
Well, honestly, it's so interesting how they put it together, because it's like hard enough where it's not easy, but it's not easy enough where it's too easy. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it's that sweet spot.
And even if you find like a star that's really, or a moon that's really difficult to figure out, you can just move on. There's a ton that's easy for you to just get and move on.
Yeah. Like I knew like I was just gonna get enough, but like as I started accumulating more, when it started becoming a part where I had to really look, then I was just like, all right, I'm done with this area. I'm gonna move forward. Like there's nothing that was keeping me.
Well, that's what I did too. Like to the point where it's like, I don't know if I can do this yet. Maybe there's something I have to get later on. Like I was just like thinking of all these.
Because in those, like this is the thing, like you can drive yourself crazy. Because in some of those areas, you can't actually get to those areas until you find the paintings to go through in the other areas to get to.
Well, that's
so like if I was racking my brain the entire time on how to try to get to a stupid little platform,
progress.
I don't know if I would have ever gotten there.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, you know what, I got so many moons in this level. Yeah. Let me just move on. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Because I just want to play the game.
But you get plenty. It's not like you're like trying to scrap moons together to try and move on, though.
I have like 80-something moons already from like the only 3 levels, and I was like, it's just fun.
It's a great game.
Just fun.
Fantastic. They did a knockout job with that.
Oh yeah, from what I just played, 2 thumbs up so far.
Like I said, there's like, I want to see as you get further, because there was only 2 qualms I had with the entire game, and I want to see how you enjoy them.
Yeah. Alrighty, so I think that's what we're playing.
It is, for the most part.
Let's move on to some topics here. First one we'll talk about. Jonah, you kind of stumbled upon this first.
Well, it's everywhere. I don't know if
well, it is everywhere. It's not like you were the leak of it.
He did some big media digging. Talk to all the sources.
Breaking from Jonah.
Front page of Google.
Also known as Google.
You heard it here through Cartridge Blast Gamer.
Video games, Google search, top hit, ESRB.
Ah, this looks interesting.
Good podcast topics.
Good job. Thanks for finding this, Jonah.
Let's send this before anybody else figures it out. Okay, so for this one, there's been a lot of people talking about how microtransactions are hidden in video games, and you buy something not expecting it to not have everything that you need to actually enjoy the game.
Boss battle, please insert this many coins.
Exactly. So,
oh my gosh,
the ESRB decided to actually put a label on these games that have this, and that sounds like a good thing, but they this will also apply to anything that's like Zelda Breath of the Wild that has just one DLC or expansion pass.
Yeah, or
and no microtransactions
purchases or anything like that.
So Battlefront is going to be in the same category as Mario.
Yeah, or Horizon Zero Dawn.
And it's basically just like putting this label there, like, look, we're concerned, we're doing something about it, but we're gonna like hide everything. So everything is the same anyway, just has more things.
So what the
front
ESA
cover.
said about this, and they had like a big statement when it came out, and they were pretty much saying that the reason why they did such a blanket, basic kind of a tag that they want to do is because parents couldn't really differentiate or really care about what the difference was between loot boxes and DLC.
Right.
Because I guess this has been something that they've been looking into for a while. It's just a matter of it hasn't really bubbled up to the surface until recently with Battlefront and the holiday of loot boxes.
They should just, instead of having what they have like in-game purchases, they should just be like, you will spend more money.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's not really like it's going to be a tag, like a ESRB tag with everyone, mature, teen, whatever. But I do think that there is a slight difference between additional content and random rolled loot boxes. I still feel like that should be something that is specified, because you are spending money on something that you may or may not get pretty much of what you want from it.
Right.
So I think there's something very different. It's different than me going into a comic book store and buying a comic that I want, or buying a pack of trading cards that I might get something that I actually want from it. It's just there's two different types of transactions, and it's two different types of business models, and I do think they need to differentiate it a little bit more. And who knows, maybe it's just something like, it may not be for the parents, but even somebody that's kind of cautious when it comes to buying games, and maybe they don't want to deal with something like that, or they don't want to give their money to those kinds of companies that actually require or try and push on loot boxes. So at least allow for the typical everyday consumer that's not like us, that's not entrenched in this information, to at least know what they're getting themselves into.
Right. Yeah. So it's really not going to do too much. I mean, I guess it's just like you're saying, just like, yeah, hey, just put that on there. We warned you.
Yeah.
But it's really like,
Well, when this was announced, the ESRB did say that they're going to keep taking people's opinions on the matter and just see, and maybe they'll do something about the label later on.
Rated B for bullshit.
And everybody, I'm sure everybody knows at this point now too, is the reason why this is kind of being pushed is because the government was starting to get involved. Like, certain senators were trying to push for different institutions of something along these lines, or we're trying to remove them altogether. So this is the ESA trying to say, hey, we're doing something, kind of stay away, leave us alone. So it's one of those things that,
it's kind of like how
they're trying to put a Band-Aid over it for right now until they can figure it out.
It's kind of like how some movie companies release like a title in some franchise just to keep the rights. Yeah, it's just like, we need to do this, let's just push it out and we'll fix it later.
Yeah, like the Fantastic Four movie.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that something else comes out of this, like maybe even like keep a purchase label for expansion passes, but have a different one for microtransactions.
The big thing would be though too is that I feel like a little icon, like you look in the back of the box of like a video game box, like there's a bunch of different icons saying, oh, 1 to 2 player, oh, co-op, and it's like small little freaking icons that nobody really pays attention to. So sometimes you buy a game, it's like, oh, I thought this was co-op co-op multiplayer, and it's actually only online multiplayer. That's because nobody actually read the box.
Gotta read the box.
If it's not on the front,
so I think the best thing that I saw was like they wanted some. I feel like I can't remember where it was, but they wanted a strip across like the cover of the box that went across the box saying that there is microtransactions or loot boxes along the strip front of the box. I guess I feel like that would catch somebody's eye more than just some little icon that would be down at the corner of the case.
Right. So. I mean, with that, I don't know. I mean, it's. For gamers themselves, it's kind of a moot point because you know what you're getting when you get the game. But for
the parents is the bigger portion. Like, the parents are the ones that they don't understand that why their little son Billy racked up $200 in loot boxes and they didn't get anything they wanted.
I want to know who's been giving Billy all this money.
But that's what it is. It's a matter of you
might want to check.
You want to control. You want to have certain controls and be understanding of what your kids are doing. And some parents are, some parents aren't.
I don't know. I feel like parents our age, though, kind of get the idea of gaming. I don't know, though. It's not for everybody.
I mean, I think for the most part, people that buy, the informed gamers that buy video games are like a small percentage of everyone that buys video games. And the people that we don't hear from, like, are the people that don't really care to talk about video games in, like, online forums and stuff. Yeah. So they're the people that this is going to be affecting, really. Because those of the people that do the research already know this game is shit, because it's got microtransactions up the wazoo. And so the everybody else is going to be protected slightly by saying, okay, there's something here. I'm going to purchase this, and I'm just not going to deal with that later on.
It's an easy thing. If your kid asks for your credit card, just say no. Mom, I need money. No, you do not. You replay that game over and over again.
Got a checkered board in the closet. Get that out.
Get that out. No, you may not. I need to buy this loot box. No, you do not. Don't you worry about it. You have that game for a year. It doesn't have a hard mode. Yes, replay the game in hard mode. That's as far as you get. So, yeah, it's I guess it's for them. And I mean, I made up this tag, so I don't think that's what it's gonna look like.
That's the official ESRB tag. Just you saw it here first, folks.
I mean, actually, that'd be a lot easier.
Source us,
because all you have to tell your parents, like, don't buy me a game like that.
Yep.
Source us in your articles.
Or tell your friends, don't buy your kids games with that logo on it.
But at the end of the day, the bulk of the problem is that
it's going to be on everyone.
Well, it's just a matter of,
for the most part,
people don't want to spend more money on games. I'm going to stick by this position. They don't want to spend 10 extra bucks on games. I understand that they don't want to budget it, but then until they find a better way, they're going to have to do something along the lines of microtransactions or loot boxes. And unfortunately, that's what it is. Like,
just don't be sneaky about it.
Yeah.
I'll stand by that.
Yeah.
There you go. If we're going to take any way away from the story, don't be sneaky about it. So, let's move on to something a little more crazy.
Okay.
Okay, you want me to click it?
Oh, I thought you were trying to click it.
No, I was building up to it.
Oh, okay.
We're segueing.
Or segueing without segueing. Anyway, let's talk a little bit of... I mean, this is something we don't really get into with stuff like this, but it's, it's something to talk about because
it gets brought up every 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part. A lot of podcasts don't even want to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it.
I mean,
I enjoy making everybody uncomfortable.
So, Carmine, explain what this picture is all about.
You know what, Sean? Can I just say that this picture was a little different about an hour ago?
I don't know what you mean.
But, so every time, unfortunately, like, the different tragedies that happen in the world, specifically in our country, there's usually some sort of conversation about, violence, violent video games and what kind of actual effect it has on the kids, teenagers, people who play them. Now, and it's one of those things that there's never any solidified proof that any kind of violent video games actually make violent people. And I think that could be easily said because Call of Duty sells millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of games every single year, and you're looking at such a small percentage of people that actually act out in that manner.
Yes.
I agree.
You're like, and
it seemed like you were going to keep going.
I know, that's what I thought.
I was like waiting for the next part of the argument. Okay, yes, that's true.
I thought you were going to pull out some cue cards.
But another
Ball hitting in the head.
Another argument for that is it doesn't create the violent people, but it's there for the people that are violent and they want to and it just keeps like routing them up. So they already have that thing in their head, and they're going into these virtual boot camps, as they say.
I think, and we're gonna get in a good conversation here. I feel it already, because like you look at violent movies. John has literally an entire wall of violent hack and slash movies.
It's called horror movies.
Whatever.
And they're family friendly fun.
Yeah. But like, there's not an outcry for that. And I don't know if it's because of the interactivity or they just view games as like an easy target. Like, that's my big question.
Well, for me, to me, it comes down to the mental state of the person. And listen, if we're all playing one game, I guarantee we're not going to go out and feel like we need to act out based on the actions of the game.
Yeah.
However, some people out there do not have that off switch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't have that, hey, that's not a good idea. Like, they have the influence to be like, I mean, I get it if you're like a really young kid and you don't get the reality of things too. Like, you can take a knife or a gun and, I mean, first of all, if your kid gets a hold of a gun, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If the kid's able to grab a knife, you're doing something wrong. But anyway, outside of that, they get a gun, they get a knife. You know, they might be thinking they're playing. It happens all the time. You know what I mean? They go play shoot somebody. But then again, it goes way back to cowboys and robbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, and I also think that
You mean police and robbers, cowboys and Indians.
Cowboys and robbers.
Cowboys and robbers.
You know,
Did you
Cowboys
say
and
that?
robbers could be the same.
Well,
they don't get along.
I think that the
Different
reason
gangs.
the reason video games and movies are separated and video games is scrutinized more often is because movies have been around for a while, and the people in power, the older people, grew up with them. They love them. They don't really care about video games, and
Plus, Hollywood has a huge influence.
yeah,
On a lot of political things.
yeah, and
So you don't want to screw around with your buddies.
exactly. And with video games, it's relatively new. So the stuff in recent memory, all these events that are happening in recent memory, they can just be attributed to the rise of an industry that hasn't been there before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, it's been blamed, or Doom's been blamed. Grand Theft Auto was a huge one, like
Mortal
Grand Theft Auto
Kombat.
3.
Mortal Kombat's the reason of why you have a ratings board.
Yes, because of the...
Was that Night Trap also?
Night Trap too.
Night
yeah,
Trap.
Mortal Kombat, Night Trap.
Yeah. Well, Night Trap, yeah.
That's what started it.
The, so, I mean, you can't... It's just weird, because technically anything could cause it. You know, the way, you know, certain kids' parents are acting in front of each other, if the way siblings act with each other. You know, it's all... There's a lot of things that could be influential.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes kids are just really mean, and there's a breaking point.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, it depends on how sound you are. With all this being said, too, is just like, I have a 4-year-old son, or he's going to be 5. Like, I'm not going to be putting him in front of Call of Duty anytime soon. Like, or any kind of, like, violent movies where, like, you see, like, weapons, guns, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's my personal choice. And I'm not saying that it has... with me saying that it doesn't have a direct correlation, it's weird being a dad, because I'm still not, like, knowing what I know about video games, I'm still not willing to take the chance.
Right.
It's odd, because, like I said, I don't think, personally, that there is any kind of a correlation, and maybe there's some slight correlation, but I don't think there's any kind of main correlation that everybody that plays violent video games, is going to have a higher chance of being violent. But at the same time, I don't want to take that chance, because, like, it's just like one of those things that, like, you can think of. It's terrible to think about, but there's such a small percentage of people that actually have these types of situations occur and these tragedies occur, but you just never know. And I think that's why I'm, like, so hesitant.
Well, it's another thing too to monitor what, like, for instance, I mean,
like, I know
your son's 5 years old.
He's not playing Grand Theft Auto until I say he can play Grand Theft Auto, and that's still going to be after he's 18.
I mean, when we were 5 years old, we're playing Nintendo. We're playing with 8-bit graphics.
That's true too. Like, that's the thing, is that, like, it's completely different now, and maybe that's something to say about it. Is that it's completely different now, the realism that you see, compared to what we had growing up. Like Ghostbusters, Mario, even Contra, kinda, but Contra was still cartoony.
Well, that's what it is. Like,
you're shooting, like,
I would never think in real life. Like, if anything, I would always play shoot. You know.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like something you're gonna be like, I'll play with my brother and just be like, you know what, I just gotta shoot you.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just, your son's 5 years old. You're obviously, like, today's games are. They're more mature. Like, they're
more real.
They're basically, the video game industry has grown up with its audience.
It has, absolutely.
And
100%.
that's exactly what it is. So your son now is growing into this new age of kind of catching up, if you will, but he's surrounded by, if you introduce them to games, they'll be surrounded by this
Well, I mean,
stuff.
like, he loves Mario Kart. I don't really find there too much issue with Mario Kart.
Right.
But
you're not going to put your son behind the wheel anytime
I'm not
going
to
to
say, like, oh, let's boot up Call of Duty. Let's see what he can do. You know what I mean? Like,
get that kill count, boy.
Yeah, like,
that's my boy.
But again, like, it's so hard. Like, I feel like I'm contradicting myself, and I hate people that contradict themselves. But at the same time, like, I don't feel like there's a direct correlation. There might be a small correlation, but at the same time, I'm still not willing to risk it with my own kid.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the things that are happening throughout the world, you know, if what they're blaming it on, those individuals are, you know, about 12 years younger than us, if, you know, for the most part. So they kind of grew up, you can say they grew up with
different
times and stuff like that. But at the same time, like I said, it's like, your son's 5. I'm pretty sure well, I wouldn't say pretty. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure parents aren't buying, but unfortunately, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like parents are probably buying their 7-year-old kids Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
It keeps them quiet.
And like I said,
quiet. Exactly.
like I said, I don't
they
think
don't want to deal with. Oh, I want this game. Why can't I have this game?
Fine.
Go back to the closet. No, I'm just kidding.
But I don't know. It's like I said. I feel like for it to be an influence, there's got to be so many outside
exterior forces.
Exterior forces, like you're isolated.
Yeah.
You're always like beat up, and then like
you're bullied. You're this that. And
there's already something happening.
Yeah.
Up in here to get you to a point of that. If video games are influenced, but then again, was it the video game, or was it the outside, or was it something else?
Yeah.
It just so happens you played these games. It so happens that, I don't know. It's just like, okay, yeah, maybe this game taught you how to use a gun. Maybe it was so realistic that you knew the parts of the gun.
Yeah.
But that goes into a whole nother like fixation on something. Like I said, it's probably all up here.
Yeah.
It's not like us three. Like if we go back in time, someone hands us Doom, or like a new version of something. I mean, what's the most violent game you can think of today?
Sly Cooper.
Like, see, like, there. I feel like
Sunshine.
So there, violence is like so broad. So like, there's like a realistic kind of a violence, and I look at things like Wolfenstein. Like that is a gory game and pretty realistic. There's a scene at the beginning of Wolfenstein 2 that I wasn't comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And judge me how you may, they probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But it hits on some really like hard points. But then you look at things like Mortal Kombat, which is so over the top violent that it's almost comical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like there's a range of like what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard for me to say that like, you know, what's the most violent game or the most realistic game. It really depends, and it may be different for everybody.
I mean, like, for instance, looking back when we grew up, we had Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles. There wasn't one kid, I'm sure, that didn't go out and pretend to play and be like a Ninja Turtle or Power Ranger. But you weren't literally, like,
stabbing people
with the size or trying to push them off a cliff or something like that.
Fellow chucker.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you had the sense to be like, okay, like, if you're going to pretend to hit, like, you pretend to hit.
I just decided I'm going to change one of my gamer tags to combat cold cuts, if that's not already there.
I'm sure it is.
They're probably right.
Well, now it
is.
It is now. One viewer. So one viewer figured it out.
We're the viewer.
One viewer. Thanks for watching. Actually, it's probably it is us.
It's us.
For those watching in the future.
Yep.
It's too late. You already did it.
I got to go do it now. Log up and
podcast is over. Gotta go.
Combat cold cuts.
Combat cold cuts. But I just feel like it's a lazy, kind of.
Just so everybody knows, because I feel like I said combat cold cuts and nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Go ahead.
It's from Ninja Turtles 2 with Mikey because he couldn't use nunchucks.
The Secret of the Ooze, not the Michael Bay.
Not the Michael Bay one. But he falls over into a cold cut stand and comes out with twirling cold cuts and says, "Combat cold cuts," and chases the guy.
Yeah.
So
go see it if you haven't.
Yeah. So now everybody understands where we're at in this conversation.
Okay.
And I felt like it was kind of off on a tangent, but I feel
now you gave him more of a reason to do it before you do.
Yeah, exactly.
So
the movie was so good.
Oh, it's
there's
great.
so much. It's just some awesome moments.
But I do like the first one, like more like when I was a kid, I thought the first one was boring compared to. But anyway, that's off topic. But in that movie, the bad guy gets knocked off a cliff or a building. We don't do that. You know, we weren't gonna go knock people off cliffs.
See what happens.
But I mean, it's
your siblings might do that just to see what happens. But
we have one too many of you. We cannot share any longer. But I mean, I don't know. Listen, there could be some scientific research out there that puts a group of random people in a room at a certain age. They do this test and see what happens. I mean, then again, you know, if you're putting kids through tests, that could also trigger something in there. You know what I mean?
That's exactly it. It's like, how do you prove it?
Yeah.
At the same time. Like, it hasn't been proven, but how do you prove it?
I mean, it's just...
And I guess they're going based off of aggression. But aggression doesn't always necessarily mean that they'll be violent.
Like you know, your son... you know, he observes the world, so like he feeds off the environment that you put him in.
Yeah.
And that's with every kid. And it's just, you know, it's a combination of environment, and if he already like is in a you know, a crazy environment such as that, and then they're
Yeah.
playing video games, you know, then the influence might be a little more. It might be, like I said, it's a hard topic. It's just something to talk about because as gamers, we don't want to be blamed for something that's like crazy.
Well, it's just a matter of like it seems like it's always like the scapegoat. It's always people.
Well, that's it's like the lazy like.
But
it's the easy target.
But I will say
I always picture like in like the old Simpsons where they had like Ned Flanders' wife. She's like, think of the children, and you know they had the Lovejoy's wife, the minister. Like it was always about like, oh, think of the children, stuff like that. Like I feel like it's like those people that don't understand any of it. Any of what we're doing, but they just choose to blame it because it's like I don't understand it, but it looks violent, so let me blame it.
And you guys brought up two really good points, and one of them was, you know, Jonah was saying that, you know, everybody that's in power now. So what now with that being added into it, what happens then? You know what I mean?
Our stream stopped for a second there.
That was odd.
Apparently,
snow coming.
Yeah, right.
But
So, say that one more time because I think we lost it for a second.
So what I was saying is that with what Jonah said in regards to the people that are in power now, the politicians and everybody else like that, they grew up with movies. So they're not going to go and blame movies potentially based on what their perception is of them. You also have things where John was saying that, you know, games today are much different from games of yesteryears. And now the games now are actually getting to a point where we're going to be throwing on a VR headset. So what does that look like? Does that have more of an effect? Is there more correlation after we have something like that where it's more immersive and it feels more like real life?
Well, when you mention horror movies, now, I like horror movies, you know, just the generic ones, but
John's a crazy person, likes horror movies, enjoys watching people suffer. You heard it here on Cartridge Blast Gamers.
Onto that.
Source us.
Onto that point though, like suffering, there are movies out like there's movies I can't watch.
Saw, I can't watch any of the Saws anymore
because like
I can't do it.
But like even Saw is like comical to some actual like I guess what is it like a snuff film?
Nah,
or
it's
something
not
like
even comical. Or like Hostel, can't watch that either. I can't watch horror movies just to cringe.
Watch people. Yeah, exactly.
I can't.
I don't get the
like Conjuring. Like I enjoy those types of movies.
I can watch Saw 1, but none of the other songs.
Yeah, like
Saw 1's good.
Yeah,
Saw, you're right. Like Saw 1 was a decent movie, but
I know you're talking like suffering.
They make it to get a reaction out of you, and they know exactly what reaction out of you they want.
Yeah, like there's movies that are purposely like really like people just suffer through the whole movie, and I was just like I was going like horror movie reviews or something like that, and there's like worst like really bad like horror movies where they're just like they look so real and like it looks like real people are being hurt and like actual hurt, and people watch that stuff. Now I can't do that. Yeah. But it just shows you like what kind of person could watch that and like and enjoy it. And that's the kind of like people that I don't know, like I feel like I don't know if you're just born like that. Like I don't know if there's like some sort of crazy influence. Like for me, like I'm not bashing anybody that does it, but there's a interesting thing I heard about like for instance death metal music. Yeah. I don't mean to put any like correlation between violence and death metal, but I'm just like using this as some sort of mental explanation. So, for instance, death metal music, a lot of people that listen to it, it calms them down. Yeah,
and I read a similar article. Like it actually has a completely different effect to what you would think it would.
Exactly. And that's very interesting. Like if I listen to it, like the screaming, so like the gurgling. I forget what they. I forget what they call it. There's a term for it, but anyway, like to me, I can't listen to that just because. I think the technical music aspect of it's awesome, like the way it's really the musicians are very talented, but this like that whole aspect of like the vocals and stuff like that, I don't get it. Yeah. But people will listen to that and it calms them down. So I don't know how that works into what like the mental thing we're talking about. Like some people can watch a snuff film and not go out and murder somebody, but yet they like watching stuff like that versus like video game violence where it's like you don't like for instance we play Call of Duty or a game and we're playing it as a game, like we get the kills because we get the kills, we don't get the kills because like
it's a competition thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like I'm killing this person.
You're like I'm just gonna murder some people today.
I'm like got him.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm moving on to the next.
Yeah, and then like carve like an something in your wrist.
And
like I killed this many
and
people.
then like I don't play God of War because I enjoy ripping,
people
monsters
apart and
or
like
anything
heads
like
and
that.
stuff like that.
But it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Moving along with that heavy metal thing you were talking about, it reminds me of like how back in the 80s, the parents called rock and roll the devil's music because they didn't understand it.
Right.
Yeah, because they always have a scapegoat from something that they don't understand.
Yeah.
It was like when Elvis came out and they're like, and even Johnny Cash, like with their like dancing and everything like that. They're like, why is he doing that? Like, what are they doing?
Johnny Cash glorified the whole prison scene, like being a prisoner, breaking the law. So yeah, Jonah's right. It's a matter of a lot of people when they don't understand something, they'll usually point fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you were talking earlier about how the rise of VR affects.
Like what is going to have an effect because it's going to be more simulated than it's probably ever been in the past.
I think
why they're going to keep it super hot and make orange people.
I think I think VR is only going to strengthen the resolve of people that are really into making video games their scapegoat.
Yeah.
Because it's just another. They remove barriers from you and the game.
Yeah.
Because the screen's there to keep you out of the world, but now you have the VR to put you right in there.
Yeah.
And even if it's not really doing anything to somebody that's already grown up, maybe it does have an effect. I don't know. Because you're going in there and VR. I haven't tried it, but VR is apparently very. Atmospheric and immersive.
I mean, nice. They use it for therapy and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
which it could be used for good use.
So maybe there needs to be like an age thing for VR.
I mean, eventually, but it's going to be the same age thing that we have now. Like the video games are going to be rated based on their violence.
Right.
But I worry about the people that VR is not meant to be like a 12, 15, 20 hour game session.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that if it does get to that point where it's getting that good, then maybe we do have to worry about like what kind of effects it might have later on.
Well, it's like
we don't know yet.
We look at that movie. What is that? Ready Player One.
Yep.
And then it's like if VR got to that extent where it's like everyone's living in this other world outside the other one, it's like
that'd be me.
But
if I can hop in my DeLorean and go and buddy up with the Iron Giant, done, gone, over.
Absolutely.
I was going to say something kind of crude. I'm not. Let's just move on.
We're live. There's no editing.
It had something to do with Overwatch.
I mean, like final thought.
So we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
That awkward pause.
Lovely. So, I mean, what do you guys think?
Video games are good.
Keep it friendly. This is just a topic amongst gamers.
Yeah, no, I mean,
we're not trying to.
Honestly, though, I feel like we brought up a lot of good points, and I think that we've talked about it on both sides. I think there's still going to be a ton of debate going forward.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be debate going forward. I don't think one side's right over the other or anything like that, but it is a conversation that I think we have to have, and it's going to be something that we're going to continue to have. But at the end of the day, enjoy your video games. Just
Absolutely.
be smart. Like I said, again, I don't want to be the contradiction, but I have a son, and I'm very involved with gaming, so I'm going to know exactly what my son's playing at all times, and I'm going to make conscious choices about what he should or shouldn't be playing.
Plus, you'll be, observing your child. You're not just going to throw a random game in there and be like, have fun.
Yeah, have fun. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah.
Great the thought. I'll go check out the strip
I
club.
wonder why he's stabbing the wall.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
Why is he having night terrors now?
Yeah. So it's just like, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we'll move on.
Moving on.
Topic number 3.
So let's talk a little bit about Twitch.
It's a service.
Is that Chuck Norris?
That is Chuck Norris.
Because he gets strict on
Twitch
crime.
getting strict.
I'm not saying anything about it. I like the fact that Chuck Norris is in our podcast. I'm just curious. What was the choice going into the banner?
Walker, Texas Ranger is strict on crime.
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Clearly. My mistake. Continue. Go on with the chlorophyll.
So basically, Twitch is kind of cracking down on their policies with, their
scantily clad women.
Speak for me.
Well, it's basically they're coming up with a dress code, and they want to work on.
I mean, they're technically paying them, so I guess they can kind of give them a dress code.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, that's a really interesting. That's a really interesting.
But here's the thing, though. It's not like, for instance, it's not limiting to where if we're doing a beach live stream, they said you can wear a bathing suit. So, but it's not like something where, okay, I'm gonna be in a
I'm
big.
trying to understand a time where you would be live streaming from a beach.
I'm a surfer.
I'm
and
pretty
I wanna
sure.
live stream
I'm
my-
pretty sure that there are Twitch users that do like IRL streams where they like just live their
real life.
lives.
Yeah.
So they could just go to the beach.
Yeah, they're kind of odd and awkward.
Yeah.
Like blogs, or is that what it
yeah,
is? Like a
they're,
blog, live blog.
they're just weird.
It's just
Okay.
it's like they're always streaming and they're just living their life, going to the grocery store. But
We
it's
should
all
do
fake
we should
and
do a let's
scripted.
play of in real life streams, and comment on the in real life streams.
Wouldn't that just be a reaction video?
That's like
live?
breaking four. That's
So
like,
we were gonna hold a controller.
that's a wall break in front of
Ah.
it's the fourth wall break in front of the fourth wall break.
Exactly.
That's like 16 walls.
At least
I think
maybe
we open
more.
up another dimension.
Yeah, I think you would.
divide by 7.
That's amazing. So much math. Anyway, so basically, with the harassment thing too, they're saying that monitor your chats, make sure no one's bullying anybody, and don't obviously encourage it. Don't encourage harassing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So stop
nice.
picking on Jonah.
Yes,
I'll pick on Jonah. I gave him a plenty of compliments this time. I think I'm up to 3.
he's at least at 3.
All right.
So
Met
So,
the quota.
I
Now it's time to really dig in.
some of the Twitch users have been upset at that rule mainly because they word it as they're being punished for their community's actions.
Okay.
But the rule is basically saying that if you see something in the chat that's something around harassment and you don't do anything about it, you're gonna get
See,
suspended.
this is so freaking hard.
But
Like, this is where it gets kind of.
It gets very interesting. I'm sorry to cut you off
Yeah, no,
because
it's fine.
I know where you're going with
Yeah.
that, but this doesn't just stick to Twitch. It sticks to if you're also on YouTube streaming, they will penalize you if you're doing it on YouTube.
How are you supposed to control other people's actions, though?
I guess you would block them.
I mean, you would block them, but once it's already out there, it's already out there.
Well, that's it's not where it's like, hey, you're all dumb butts or
Like
something
how,
like
how
that.
many, how many, like if somebody really wanted to be something like that and they wanted to knock out racist or sexist comments, they could knock out a few pretty quickly on with these keyboard warriors.
But that's it. Like if you acknowledge, like if you
have
shut
to
it down,
acknowledge it and
you
shut
can't
it
just
down.
like encourage
and you have
it, laugh
mods
at
that
it.
do
Yeah.
it and stuff like that.
So it's something where you have to make sure, and also they're looking at too, because basically, I wouldn't say we are because we're having one person watch this, but like the people that have millions of views, like
they
streamers,
have.
like they're a huge influence on people.
Yeah.
Like the PewDiePie got in trouble a lot for doing weird things, but I mean, and then that other guy, was it Logan Paul. Doing some weird things, but that's where all this, I guess, is coming from.
But here's the thing too, and this is where the media has to be more responsible. They do stuff like that, but they're the first ones to write articles about these guys and drive them right to their site.
Well, that's what it is.
Like that's and this is where like they have to be more responsible with how they do coverage around this stuff.
I mean, ideally, the for anyone watching, like anyone that owns or watching from Twitch or YouTube, you guys won't be, but anyway, the way you do that is, the media doesn't blow them up.
Yeah.
They, like Twitch, if you're doing something like that, Twitch sends you a letter and says, we were watching on this video, we thought it was so inappropriate.
You're done.
This is your one and only warning.
Yeah.
Ever again, you're done.
Yeah.
That's it.
And they have the ability to pull down whatever, like if it's a video that's been saved, they can pull it down and remove it.
Yeah.
Like they can do that. They have the power and ability to do
to be
that.
thinking about it, like, we're not in the financial situation where we can be saving everything we do on a hard drive. So really, our archive is on YouTube.
Yeah.
And if we mess up, they have the right to take it down, and that's goodbye. We have to start from scratch again. But it's just, well, you said it yourself, like the media. That's a big issue. I mean, the media. Listen, there's a lot of great people out there writing awesome articles, especially in the gaming and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people out there in the media that just want to be first, and and it's just terrible.
It's all about clicks.
It's really bad, and they hurt more than they do good. But I mean, this isn't really about the media. It's also about like the people doing the streaming and stuff like that. But then again, like you said, where does the punishment come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because say you're, like you just said, say you're part of a huge magazine or huge article that a lot of people read and whatever, and then I do something wrong, you mention it,
and then somebody else
starts a
mentions
war.
it.
It starts with a fans versus random people war, and it boosts your views and stuff like that. And like, for instance, PewDiePie, I know he, like, his acknowledgement or apologies or whatever had like all these millions of views and stuff like that.
It didn't hurt him.
Didn't hurt him, not at all. It may have put him in the news for about a month or so, but now he's still doing his thing. It took him away from Disney, but I mean, that's Disney's
And
decision.
at the end of the day, like, his community, if they're really big fans of his, you know, they'll go somewhere else. So if he decides to go to Mixer, or if he decides to go to another outlet, they'll probably follow him.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like one of those things that, like, it's a no-win scenario.
Yeah. Like, for instance, too, like, YouTube changed their policies because of all this stuff going on. And now, I mean, not that we were directly affected, but instead of, for instance, penalizing the people doing inappropriate things or whatever that their policies think they're doing wrong, they just changed their monetization stuff.
Yeah.
So that hurts the smaller channels.
Yeah.
So we suffer because they're trying to penalize them, but they don't penalize them at all.
Yeah.
They boost their views, and they put us away. Like, they took us away. We're no longer in the search engine of YouTube.
Yeah.
Or we're no longer in the, hey, recommended. We're back somewhere else that no one will ever find us.
Yep.
In the cobwebs.
Hole.
But it's nice to see Twitch kind of getting strict with this because, you know, they will do something about it. I mean, it's kind of on a different thing because I guess it's also going to be part of their content that they provide.
Yeah,
like they can't.
It's going to be a lot of agreements, license agreements. And
like, you can't purposely now show like nudity, and if a game has it, like, it just has to be the normal game. Like, you can't like have zoom in shots of like this, that, or the other thing, and you have to just dress appropriately, I guess. What did you call it before?
Scantily clad women?
No, like a boob tube or something.
Oh, the boob tubers.
The boob tubers. Is that a thing?
That's the term.
Oh, okay.
Go to In Real Life.
In real life.
Find them.
Oh, okay.
Go to In Real Life.
In real life.
So walk away from the screen.
Are they naked people, or are they just?
No, it's just
Look
people.
At me, I'm Two-Faced.
Yeah, if you see,
I just realized my arm was off.
If you see those YouTubers and their thumbnail is just them, but they're wearing like a revealing shirt that shows cleavage.
Yeah,
it's BoobTuber.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, then again, that's what's. I'm not saying that's only what's getting their views. Like, their personalities, I'm sure, are fine, but that helps with some views.
That helps getting the click.
That's true.
That's what it is. It's like the thumbnail.
That's
the
what
thumbnail
grabs
that
them in.
seeing,
Yeah. So,
not there's anything wrong with that. You do you.
Yeah.
You do whatever you got to do.
So, but it's
I'd
interesting.
do it if I could.
It's interesting because Twitch is also like they're looking at other, like, if you do it on YouTube or if you do it on like Twitter or something like that.
Yeah.
They'll kind of pull you aside and be like, hey, what are you doing?
Come here. Gotta
What
talk to you.
So, I mean, Jonah, what do you think about all this crazy nonsense?
About the rule changes, or
You think it's good?
I do think it's good, just because Twitch can be a really toxic environment for even if for people that are just like going there to watch new streamers. If you're not used to the community, you're just like, oh my, hey, what's up? I'm new, and then someone's just like, you know, just fall off a cliff, burn in hell, something like that.
I feel like that was the internet though from day one.
Yeah, but you know, it's not everybody lives on the internet all the time.
Even from Instant Messenger, terrible chat.
So
That's where
maybe
the emoji started.
And a lot of Twitch streamers actually have their sense of humor is derogatory toward people in the chat.
Yeah,
Right.
And their followers are there for that humor, and maybe this will tone that down, and in general cause like a ripple effect that'll make Twitch a less toxic place.
Right.
Going forward.
The last thing I'll just say about it is just like it's so hard to police the internet. Like, it's so hard and so difficult. To me, is that if you want to make things better, then don't give them a platform to stand on. If like you're really serious about this, then just remove them, suspend them, remove them, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't give them a platform to shout from the rooftops on. Don't put them in front of the media and all the media outlets showing, this terrible thing that they did. Well, you just freaking probably up their subscription.
Like I said, you just sneak a little letter in there.
Like it's just so hard to handle, and it's so hard to police. And people that get upset about their Twitter followers attacking them on Twitter, it's like you can't fix the internet. Why even give them any kind of a standpoint that you're going to get into a shouting match over Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just let it go. Like, let it go, block them, don't acknowledge them.
Yeah.
The people that fall into the traps are the ones that probably boost their own followers in Twitter because they're giving somebody a ground to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, where do you think this could also go? Do you think they'll start censoring, like, language? Do you think that will ever come in effect?
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the only thing I could see is that, like, maybe similar to, like, what you do with, like, the podcast, where you actually have to say, like, if there's explicit content in it, they might have to start doing that with Twitch. And, like, that might be supervised for a period of time.
Yeah.
Where, like, hey, this account, you have to be 18 in order to watch this account because of the explicit content, or just have a disclaimer. But it has to be something that, eventually they're probably going to. They're going to have to say that, hey, the language thing is, we got to restrict it. And some media sites and stuff like that do that already. Like IGN, a lot of times they'll bleep out all their curses if they slip up. But that's just what they're doing because they want to reach a broader audience.
Right. Well, I mean, that's like the thing. Like, the more friendly you are, like, for instance, just thinking of, like, comedy or something like that. Like, a clean comic could eventually end up with a TV show.
Yeah.
Versus a not so clean comic.
Yeah.
That's just going to be HBO specials.
Yep.
Or Netflix.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there's more opportunity for the clean. You know what I'm saying? Because, for instance, I was watching, a lot of Let's Plays. Like, people go crazy with the swearing and stuff like that. And that was a big thing for a while there of how crazy the swearing could be.
Yeah.
But then people were like, some people get bored of it, but then...
I think one of a factor in that is if you're being funny without being, like, dirty mouth.
Derogatory.
Yeah, you're being a little clever, like more clever than people that are just saying the F word every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
For the effect with varying degrees of loudness. So I think that they'll get TV shows and stuff by being cleaner because it's generally better content than just dropping the F-bomb.
Right. It shows, like you said, that's the same thing. It shows being clever. Or, what you were saying.
Yeah, so, maybe it's time to stop maybe it's time to start upping your game with comedy. I don't know. It's just, if you get laughs by screaming the F word, it's like, I'm still like, can I curse on this thing?
Well, that's like, sometimes I will, sometimes I don't, but I kind of keep it.
Usually if I'm cursing, it's usually quoting another movie.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's usually my curse. My cursing.
Because we used to, like, one of our first ever videos, all those sort of things, like, I was playing Mega Man and I was kind of using, like, a lot of, like, random words made up and stuff like that, but in the end, like, I only did, like, one video of that because I was like, a lot of it was kind of my actual reaction, but a lot of it I felt like was forced just to try to be funny, and then at the same time it was like, yeah, but then this restricts, like, who's going to watch it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of if some people just aren't natural when they do certain things, and you can tell. So, like, I'm not going to go the entire show just cursing because that's just not who I am. Like, it's just a matter of, like, people can tell if you're being fake or you're trying to, be somebody you're not, so...
Yeah.
I stick to what I do. And I'm going to curse periodically, but I'm not going to try and make my stake in it.
Yeah. So, I know we kind of covered a lot of things.
Broad spectrum.
Yeah, but for instance, the Twitch thing now, do you feel that, as a streamer, it's your responsibility for your viewers? Do you think that's, like...
I don't think... All right, so... I don't know if you have a responsibility to pretty much, like, a lot of streamers that it's their job. The big ones anyway, with the huge communities
and, like, the influence as well.
Yeah,
so it's like, if my thing is about, you
have a responsibility to you should know and understand that somebody on the other side, anything that you said could be taken wrong and offend somebody, and you don't know what the age is of the person on the other side of the screen. So I think you should be conscious about it. At the same time, I don't think you can base your entire show or stream on that.
Right.
So it's a gray area. Like I said, you can't fix the internet. Like, the internet's the internet.
It is what it is.
It's just, unfortunately, it's going to be the way that it is.
I mean, really, if you really wanted to do what they did, like, live streaming would have to not be a thing. That's why TV has a delay, because actually Saturday Night Live, Richard Pryor is the reason why there is a 30-second delay on TV.
Yeah.
Because they were afraid that he was going to take what he does in comedy
Yeah.
and do it on live TV. So they wanted that little space just in case they had to do it. So, unfortunately, there's millions of streamers everywhere.
Yeah.
So, like YouTube, for instance, when people get tagged for copyright, did they really look at it? No, it was just some automated thing that just happened to catch something.
Yeah.
So, like you said, there's no real way to police. The only way to do that is to get rid of the live, have someone review every video you're about to put out, see if that's up to what they want to do with their policies, and then release it. And then that's the only way we'll always have clean material. That's why PewDiePie would never have gotten in trouble. You know, Logan Paul, they would have just been like, yeah, you can't do that. That's just, kids are going to start acting
That's
weird.
just common sense.
Yeah, that's just common sense.
Just use your brain.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's just the platform they just introduced. You know, live streaming, anything's possible. I mean,
Jonah, what's your thoughts?
On live streaming?
Just on this, just
Or
in general.
Anything we've been talking about the last hour and a half?
My
Whatever
favorite
you wanna talk
donut is
about.
glazed.
Oh, my favorite is jelly.
Yeah.
I don't like any of that. I like a regular donut, no fillings, no nothing.
I think
I like
You know what,
I-
John? You live a very disappointing life.
I think that
I know.
I think that streamers have a responsibility to their community to keep it safe for everybody
Yes. like
in
that.
general, but at the same time, they can set their audience base based on what they're streaming or how they present their channel.
I think too, like a disclaimer before every video should be like for instance, South Park always does like, you know, every character portrayed in here is
This will probably offend you.
or not like that, but I mean, like, for instance, if I'm gonna go and do something illegal or I'm gonna do something on camera, be like, disclaimer, you know, everything you see here should not be done in real life.
Yeah.
You know, use common sense, even though they're about to show up. Because the idea too is like for this is to not encourage that behavior. Like, hey, if you're doing a live stream, don't go naked. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't pick on people because it's people think if your videos are popular and that's what's happening, people are like, oh, I got to get that in my videos. So that's the thing. It's like, oh, hey, breaking the law in video is real popular. I'm going to do that too. It's like you have to have a disclaimer to be like, hey, listen, this is what I do. For everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only. Don't do this in real life, you know, because same thing going back to the video game violence thing, you know, some people don't have that off switch.
Yeah.
They can't determine what's right and wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's just what it is. Some people don't have that off switch, and depends on what their influences are, that could set off something crazy. So, I think we'll leave it at that. So, anyway, guys, that was the podcast. It was our first live ever.
I liked it.
There was a hiccup in there, so I don't know what that was about. So I gotta eventually find out where that cut in and where it cut out. I mean, that's unfortunately the only thing about the live streaming is if something happens, that's it. Like, you don't have it.
It's over.
So
Burn to the ground.
I like this format though. I think it's very cool. It's very fluid. Maybe now if we like doing this and we can keep doing this, maybe we'll look into getting a better camera. Just because this camera obviously is not meant for a long, like I have this set on the monitor way ahead of us, so just to fit us all. So I think it was at its max focus like around here or something like that. So sorry if it is out of focus, but anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. That one person that stuck around the whole time.
Which was probably us.
But for you guys catching in later, we appreciate you watching this. Guys, any final thoughts on stuff?
Yeah.
Just
Still like video games
game
quite
on.
a bit.
Game on.
Game on.
Game on.
That's
Game
pretty
up.
much it. Stay positive. Stay awesome. And as Bill and Ted said, be excellent to each other. Always.
Can we like end the podcast every time with a Bill and Ted quote?
We can try.
Or
There's
that
not
one.
many.
Well, that's the one I want. We're gonna do that.
Be excellent
Be
to each other.
excellent to each other.
That's right. So anyway, guys, I'm John for Cartridge Blast Gamers.
I'm Jonah.
I'm Carmine.
Stay awesome. Be excellent to each other. We'll see you next time. Peace.